Welcome back, Beans Army, to another segment on the Less is More Sports podcast. It's just me and Matt here today, talking about something that Matt thinks is going to cause a little bit of chaos in college basketball this year. So, Matt, you care to enlighten us on what we're going to talk about here today?
I think the caption gave it away here, your username, but yeah, judges in just about every state in the union and possibly in other countries as well have ruled that athletes from the 2022 graduating class are eligible for the upcoming 2026 through 7 6 7. It's not a show unless we reference 6 7 academic or athletic year. So basically, the one sport that impacts the most is basketball. There are football elements, but at this point, with the timing of the rulings, you're not going to get anybody big coming back. The good guys are already playing in the NFL. Most rosters are set. You're starting spring practice. You've got a few exceptions like Indiana bringing in two guys who got injured at the end of last season, who are basically there to help bolster an already good defensive line. But at this point, it's going to affect basketball a little bit more, if not a lot more, than it will the whole football thing, because football is a weird thing, man. You got more scholarships, more players vying for position, all that stuff. But and with spring practices starting in the season only being 3 weeks away, not much you can do. But basketball, especially men's basketball, the floodgates are being opened because, well, there's only one NBA, and each NBA team only has X amount of spots. And if you don't want to go ahead and start your career playing for the Guangdong Tigers or a team in Lithuania, this is your chance to maybe stick around with a fan base you love, make some bank, and have a good time for one last go round. And so, unsurprisingly, the NCAA, because they can't really do anything super well, did not plan for this and is now upset that all these judges are ruling against them and these players are eligible for a fifth year. Now, once again, this is only for athletes who graduated in 2022 because of that 5 for 5 rule and them not being specific enough. And there's a lot of caveats to, like, can you transfer technically under the judge's ruling? Do you have to play for the school you were with already? Yada, yada, yada. But if there's anything we've learned about the NCAA, it's that they really have a fetish for being totally and utterly decimated in court. So it doesn't matter. But anyway, that's what we're talking about tonight. There have been a couple, a lot, depending on how you look at it, moves that could impact the tournament going forward, impact the season, and what the NCAA might try to plan as retribution. And we'll get into all that, but I'm going to turn it back over to Les because I've rambled on long enough. So I'm going to see where he takes the conversation, and we'll go from there.
Basically, what we're going to talk about on the show as well is some of the top impact players that are going to be affected or affecting the landscape of both college basketball and college football. Even though what Matt just said, there's probably it's going to affect college basketball a little bit more. But we're going to talk about some of the players that are going to impact the landscape of college basketball and college football the most, given this 5 for 5 ruling. And I think Matt and I are both in agreement. One of the bigger names that is affected by this 5 for 5 ruling is Darion Williams, who will be returning to Texas Tech. This is one of the better players in the country. Played at NC State last year. Was a really good player for the Red Raiders a couple years ago. Well, now he's back playing in Lubbock, and the fact that they're going to be teaming up with JT Toppin, that's going to be a scary duo in that front court.
That's when JT Toppin comes back.
That is what, yes.
Hopefully that's sooner rather than later. But yeah, even the Darian Williams thing is one of those moves that really it changes a lot. But Texas Tech was going to be fine later, but it does make a world of difference because they already brought in Cruz Davis. They've got Donovan Atwell. Now you throw in Darion Williams, and hopefully at some point a healthy JT Toppin. This is a very good team for Grant McCaslin, who we all know can work miracles. And the way now Darian Williams is going to take like the load off guys like Cruz Davis and Atwell coming in and Stillwell. I forgot about him, Jermichael Spinwell or Jermichael. I wrote him down as just Jermichael. That's my fault. I'm sorry, Jermichael Stillwell. That was on me. The way he can help take a load off those guys who are coming in and some of the freshmen they've got coming in, because he is, like Les said, a veteran leader coming in from NC State, coming on that team last year. That's a veteran leader that can help turn guys who are going to probably be, the third, fourth option on the team. And now you can take a step back, grow into your role a little bit more, and you don't have that pressure. You've got a very defensive minded team. You've got a really good coach. That's one of those signings where the team was going to be fine to begin with, but now you throw in a team that, Texas Tech could be going for the double dip, much to less chagrin of going for the title in basketball and football because that's a really good roster. That's a very Grant McCaslin roster, and that's going to be very scary for every other team in the Big 12.
And of course, given that we are a locally based show out of Louisville, Kentucky, I mean, the Louisville Cardinals, I mean, the Card Nation, they've gotten a big sign here in the last couple weeks. They got Seth Trimble, who is also eligible due to the 5-for-5 ruling. Now he's added to that Louisville roster. And of course, I asked a question on the Less is More Sports shorts and social media pages and all that of does this move put Louisville over the top? So, Matt, given what Louisville's roster looked like before Seth Trimble, how much do you think the Seth Trimble move moves the needle for the Cardinals?
I was high on Louisville before, and I don't. This doesn't make me any more high on them. I think it maybe elevates their ceiling a little bit because now that was the one thing they might be lacking was having a good veteran guard. But I thought the Montgomery coming in from Dayton covered that niche already. So now you've got another. Oh, don't roll your eyes at me.
I was
I didn't know.
agreeing.
Oh, okay, okay. I didn't know that you were rolling my eyes at yet another Dayton Flyers
No,
reference.
actually, because I've been watching a lot of Deshaun Montgomery highlights as of recently, and like, yeah, no, he's actually the more and more I watch of him, the more and more I actually think he's one of the better pickups for Louisville this offseason.
I'm converting him. I'm converting him slowly and
You're
steadily.
not, but
I
no,
told you about this in
he's in
June.
my territory now. I have to.
I told you about that in June. Nobody believed me, and now look.
No, you
But
did.
yeah,
That's why you're mid-major, Matt. The crown is yours. The crown is
thank
heavy.
you, thank you, thank you. Heavy is the head that wears the crown, indeed.
If you and
But
I
yeah,
both had longer hair, we could quote Lil Wayne and say, when it comes to the crown, we done dreadlocked it down, you know?
oh yeah, I could not do that at all. I don't even think when I had hair I could do dreadlocks. I could maybe do a mullet or a rat tail if I was lucky.
Do not do a rat tail. No,
But,
we're
oh,
not doing that.
you're
No.
no fun. But yeah, going back to Trimble, it's just one of those good, what I like to call an insurance move to me. That gives you a guy you can bring off the bench who can be explosive, but kind of like Darian Williams, even to a lesser extent. That's just like the gravy, getting an extra scoop of gravy on your mashed potatoes. You already had a good roster. Now you're just getting a guy who comes in, can hit some timely threes, can tell the young guys, because Louisville does have some young guys. It doesn't feel like it. They do have a lot of young guys playing guard. And he does crowd the position a bit, but like I said, now you're taking the load off Isaac Ellis a little bit. Because he doesn't have to play, he doesn't have to
I'm going to roll my
coach.
eyes at that one, dude. No, Isaac Ellis wasn't going to play this year. Come on now.
Yeah, but if there was a chance he would have had to because of an injury, or suspension or something, God forbid that happens.
He better be redshirting now.
Yeah, he better be redshirting now, or now he can learn behind a guy who did go to North Carolina, did now is in the system. He can learn from guys. That's a big move. You add in another veteran. Now, the one thing I will be interested to see what happens with Louisville is I know that allegedly the funding's dried up, but I think Louisville may be going after somebody else too. I don't know if it's Jackson Kohler. I don't know if it's Mark Mitchell. I think they're going to try and go after a security big at some point. I don't know who that's going to be. I'm not an insider, but I think if you're Louisville, you've shored up your guard position very well. You got good guys. You're pretty good down low, but it never hurts to go get another big guy or another dude who can go out there and muscle in case Badunga gets in foul trouble or something, and go with it. Because if they get another decent big, that's when the ceiling goes from okay. I think these guys are they're definitely a third weekend team almost. To yeah, if these guys don't make the Elite Eight, yeah, Pat Kelsey's going to have some hard questions to answer.
I'll be
So yeah,
100% honest with you. If they get another big through the portal, I might actually sweat a little bit being a Duke fan because, I posted the video and I asked us, like, is this enough for Louisville to finally, to compete with Duke in the ACC? And of course, I left it for the fans to let me know in the comments, but we all know
right.
what I think. No,
Right.
it's not enough. I mean, we talk about all the last two teams that John Shire's had, and both teams have ranked top 10 in Ken Palm of all time during the regular season. And to say that this could be the most talented roster that John Shire has put together yet. I mean, it's kind of a slap in the face to Louisville because Louisville had their best offseason arguably in program history,
Yeah.
and it still don't come close to Duke's roster my opinion. But if they do get like a Jackson Kohler, more so a Jackson Kohler than a Mark Mitchell, if I'm being completely honest. But if they get someone like that, I mean, now I'm kind of starting to sweat a little bit because they already have Flory Badunga, who was, I believe, the number one ranked player in the portal. If he wasn't one,
Yes.
he was two. Um, you have Abina Akezi, a guy as a recruiting fan I know very well, very talented, big, sky's the limit for his potential. They have Gabe Dines, at the very least, he's a 7'5" guy who can stand under the rim in practice and give guards a presence to get used to finishing over a shot blocker. At the very least, that's what he's going to give you. But if you get somebody like Kohler, now, I was often critical of the roster construction of Pat Kelsey during this offseason because I questioned the fit. Because we all know that, Pat Kelsey is a very much pace and space coach. He likes to play fast, he likes to shoot a lot of threes. And I don't see this team necessarily playing like that. But a player like Kohler, should he commit to Louisville, that's a guy it's like, okay, that might be the best Pat Kelsey fit of this offseason. So that's how I feel if Jack Kohler were to go there. But
I could
my
see that.
sources tell me, Matthew,
Well, I'm
that
seeing something too that it's a battle.
I'm hearing that it's BYU who's the favorite for Jack Kohler.
Oh, that's not what I heard actually. I'm hearing smoke around. I don't want to make this joke. I should not make this joke.
You should
But
make this joke.
but I'm going to do it anyway. I've heard that the favorite Mormon from east of the Mississippi is making a play for him, which is another interesting team to talk about. And he had a 2.5 hour long meeting with the Kentucky brass today. So I don't know. We'll have to see. He's meeting with BYU tomorrow. If these sources are accurate, you can never trust anything you read on Twitter, kids.
No, you
Unless
cannot.
I tweet it or Les tweets it,
That's right.
then you can trust it. But you can never
Absolutely.
trust anything else. So we've got. I'm hearing he had a 2.5 hour long meeting with Kentucky today that went, and I'm quoting. These are in quotes. The quotes are in the air. As well as it could have gone. Now, depending on how you interpret that, you could be really excited. You could be like, "Oh crap, that crumble cookie money's coming in like hot. It's coming in more like the sugar bomb than their dirty sodas are, and we ain't getting them." Or you can interpret that to me as well as it could have gone means Mark Pope the whiffer is dead. Mark Pope the succeeder is here. I don't know what the opposite of whiff is. The swinger? No, that's horrible. I should
Oh,
not.
wow.
That's horrible.
Matt's going to rock the upside down pineapple now.
Oh no, I am not doing that. Oh God, what is this? The villages in Florida? Oh,
Oh,
that
shade.
that was a bad one. But yeah, that's gonna be interesting. We could have like a Louisville, Kentucky recruiting battle potentially in the middle of. Oh, there he is.
Yep, he's got something to say on that. Do you have an opinion on where Jack Kohler is going to go, Bean?
I like BYU. They don't drink coffee. They
Hey,
never.
Bean, we don't agree much, but when we agree, we do. Good
He's the
boy.
new AJ Dabansta.
Now that's a bit of a stretch there, buddy, but hey, you're here for the hot takes. He said, "I am the take."
I am the Senate. Nope.
Exactly. And in case you all are wondering if you watched our last episode on the cap or no cap, our college football preview, Bean goes to the vet this Friday, and so hopefully he is not an itchy puppy for too much longer.
We got to get that fixed, man. You got to get him some Zyrtec or something.
I mean, I'm trying. Hey, listen, I'm trying doing everything I can. I don't like that my buddy's itchy. He's
I
like,
think
I'm
that's on
indifferent.
a shirt. I don't like when my buddy's itchy. What does that mean, Les? What does that mean?
You
Oh,
know what it means.
I know what it means, but imagine just walking down the street and someone's wearing that shirt.
Yeah, if somebody just overheard that, like, I don't like when my buddy's itchy, they're gonna be like, what the hell? What the hell
Who's
did I just
itchy?
tune into?
It ain't
Wrong
me.
part of the
I ain't itchy.
conversation there. Yeah, hey, yo.
Hey, yo, that's our first AO of the night. And we're about 15 minutes in, so that's pretty good.
I mean, yeah, if we usually have an AO meter or AO count, I mean, we should do it like a swear jar. Like every time we say AO, just put $1 in the jar.
This is the AO jar.
This is the AO jar.
Oh my god.
But
Okay.
speaking of somebody else that Kentucky is targeting right now, and it's a player that I know all too well because he played a couple seasons at Duke, but it's Mark Mitchell. And I'm going to be honest. I'm hearing Kentucky is the favorite.
Not
I'm all
surprised at all.
I'm also hearing that another team in the SEC is the favorite to land Mark Mitchell. And honestly, I think given the roster, it's probably a better fit because if we're being completely honest, they don't have a full roster right now.
Now hold on before we know who the answer is, but I would like to point out they did get a signing today, or I think very recently in
So are they up
another.
to 5 players now?
I think they are because
Ooh, they got a starting lineup.
Sky Clark is there now, folks.
Oh, Sky Clark.
Former everything. Sky Clark is now at
He's not
LSU.
quite AJ Storr, who I'm sure we'll talk about here in a minute, but
Oh, we'll get to him. But yeah, he transferred in the
he's
other day.
Timu AJ Storr.
Ooh, that's a rough one.
I
But
don't mean as from a player standpoint. I mean from playing at all these
I
different schools and
know,
all these
I
different
know,
years.
I know.
It's hard to beat 9 schools in 9 years, bro.
It really is. I mean, that's like being the Dennis Schroeder of the NCAA, which is harder because you can't get traded.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, well, that's the thing, and he's picking them all. Like
Yep.
Schroeder, it wasn't Schroeder's fault at all.
That is a good point. Schroeder just kind of just gets thrown in with every trade. But yeah, Sky Clark, LSU Tiger now. So keep your eye on that. Maybe Ben Simmons will come back. I don't know.
I mean, with the new eligibility rules, that I wouldn't rule it out.
So yeah, Mark Mitchell at LSU. Elaborate on that because LSU has maybe 5 players now, so they could have 6.
So I could have 6, but no, Mark Mitchell is a very good player. I want to get that off my chest right now. But when I hear about Kentucky going after him, I see the same issues with him if he potentially signs with the Kentucky, with the issues that he had at Duke. And it's not that he's a bad player by any stretch of the imagination, but he's not a good fit. He's a
Yeah,
good player if your offense is built around a four that can, play downhill, get to the rim, play good defense, be a Swiss Army knife. But if
yeah,
you need your four to stretch the floor, he's not your guy. And from my understanding, that's the offense that Mark Pope is kind of built around.
yeah. I would agree.
So that's why they got Milan Momcilovic to go next to Malachi Marino to be the solid five. So that's where I'm questioning because I was like, are you going to move Mark Mitchell down to the three? Because I wouldn't do that. I don't think he's quite limber enough to be a three in that offense,
No,
but
I
no, with
guess.
LSU just having to fill the roster out, they just need to get anybody they can get. So I feel like he would have more success going to a team that just needs to get who they can get. At this point, he can be the star. So that's
Yeah,
why I think LSU is probably the better fit for Mark Mitchell, who again is a good player. He's just not a good fit with guys that run offenses like Duke and Kentucky do.
I would agree wholeheartedly. I assumed when I first read it that that meant they were moving Momcilovic to the 3. They're going to try
I
to get really big or something. I was kind of
That
like,
would be a defensive nightmare. And not in the good way. No, like they'd get cooked every game.
cooked.
Because you imagine Milan Momcilovic trying to guard like Dame Sar? That's
No,
not gonna go well.
that would not go well at all. No. But I think the thing with Kentucky here too is I kind of hinted at this on the on the little video I did was that for Kentucky, I think this is a chance maybe to rewrite the narrative because it's like I said, all offseason, I remember I looked at my phone once and the number one trending topic was Mark Pope whiffed. And it's
Yeah.
like, I don't even know. Kentucky ended up with a pretty good roster. Not a great roster for Kentucky standards, but a pretty good roster. I mean, it's not awful and then by any stretch of the imagination. They've got potential. But I think now what you're looking at is Kentucky's just trying to reclaim the narrative by going out, maybe proving that, like in the secondary recruiting season, they're still Kentucky. They've still got weight to throw around. And, it's a blessing and a curse because, like you said, like we've kind of hinted at, that's when you make the moves that are a little bit more questionable because you just want to prove your point. Mark Mitchell may not fit, but he's a good player and a big name. And if you get him over, and this is just me naming teams, folks. I am not saying these people are recruiting anybody. And if you get him over a Louisville or an LSU or a conference rival, it's just another one of those, haha, we still got it. Pope still got it. He ain't whiffing. Crumble cookie ain't shit type things. You just got to prove you can do it. And I think that might be a bigger part of it for Kentucky in some ways. Just going out and accumulating some talent, see where that goes. Help Mark Pope. They got Hampton. That was a big one for next season, but try to recapture a little bit of that momentum for this season too. When you've already got a pretty solid roster, try to elevate that with like a big signing, which, like I said, could end up being bad, but it gets people talking about you. It gets the narrative, which is what we always talk about, off your coach's back, and you just see where it goes from there. It could lead to some good places. It could lead to some bad places, but you just got to, you won't know until you try.
But if the sole reason for landing Mark Mitchell would be like sheer pettiness, don't get me wrong, that's a level of pettiness that I respect to my core.
See? See?
But at the same time, I mean, if you're at Kentucky, you're Big Blue Nation, you think of yourself as the blue blood, especially like the team in the SEC, and you look at like what Florida's done, bringing everybody back. You look at what Texas has done, and it's like, do you want to bring in somebody that could hurt your chances to compete with those teams, or do you want to bring in somebody that's a good fit so that you can compete with those teams? That's where I'm looking at it.
Right. Well, I definitely see that argument too. But what I do know is that LSU now, I think, has four guards and one forward on their roster.
They
So
need Mark Mitchell.
they need Mark Mitchell, yes. I don't know how Scott. Well, I do know how he's going to fit, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that when, eventually when they have a full roster and Will Wade can do his magic. We'll see. But yeah, that's what I've heard about Kentucky. Is just like, yeah, they were around that Hall guy from Auburn that Indiana was also interested in or something. I don't know. These are even weirder than this is even weirder than the regular portal in a lot of ways. So we're just gonna have to keep our eyes on the prize. But I would not be surprised at all to see Kentucky do something.
Is it time to officially talk about the elephant in the room that is AJ Storr, Mr. 9 schools in 9 years?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, he's now at UNLV, I believe.
They're running Rebels, baby.
They're running Rebels. I mean, I'll be honest, like this is a guy a couple years ago when we did the show about the top transfer portal moves. He was a top ranked player in the portal. And am I wrong for thinking he hasn't quite lived up to that?
No, I would not think. I wouldn't think that at all. I think you're right on the money there.
Hence, that's probably why he's playing at 9 schools in 9 different years because he hasn't lived up to the reputation. But that's just an impressive feat in its own. It's like playing for a different school every year, and that dates back to his freshman year of high school.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, on one end, it's like you're getting to meet so many different people, but at the same time, you're not developing chemistry with any of them.
No. But the AJ Store signing is interesting to me too because, and I was going to talk about this later, but LSU, my God, UNLV with Passner, then sneaky good team there.
Hmm.
And like I said, it's another really good depth piece. You got Sebastian Mack coming in from Missouri. You've got that one guy, Tyler Harris, coming in from Vanderbilt, and you got Mustafa Loom from Northwestern State, a guy I'm very high on, 6'10" forward. Now you got another guy who's kind of played at high major level, another guard. I mean, like you said, the dude never really lives up to the hype, but he's never a guy you can just forget the existence of.
Right.
Now, whether that's because of the 9 schools in 5 years or just because he does have games where he balls out, you just can't forget about a guy like that. You can't leave him there. And on a roster like that, low pressure, it's a low risk, high reward kind of move to me. I mean, you already were bringing in a lot of guys who have been cast offs from high majors and trying to construct a roster. But it's UNLV. You've got money. You've got the space. You're trying to compete in a very loaded, in a somewhat loaded conference. I have to review who's in the Mountain West now because I'm gonna forget since it's now the Pac Mountain West 12,
Yeah.
Missouri Valley, whatever you want to call it.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna have to review who's in there. It's a pretty good conference, so you might as well go out and try and accumulate talent and at least be an interesting ball club. It's like you said, Store. I mean, he also apparently has a thing for red because St. John's, they're red. Wisconsin's red.
Wisconsin, yeah.
Kansas, not as red, but red is present. Ole
They do
Miss,
have they do have red in their colors.
exactly. It's on the Jayhawk. Ole Miss, red lettering, and now UNLV, red lettering. Guy likes red letters. I can't help it.
Yeah, I mean, guy just likes red. Red is his color.
Red letter media. That's what he is.
Maybe it complements his eyes.
It could. It brings out the best in his. Oh my God, no! Don't say that. We're
No,
moving
say
on.
it.
From that. We're
Say it.
moving on. No, we are not. We are moving on from that point. But it's like, yeah, I mean, The guy obviously did not live up to the billing, but you can rehabilitate players. It's just, is Las Vegas the place to rehabilitate a player?
But you know who is going to make me sad to talk about on this segment?
Who's that?
You know who it is because he played for my Texas Longhorns last year,
Oh, yeah.
and now because of the 5 for 5 ruling, he got an extra year of eligibility. And given the offseason that Texas had, now this is the downside of this ruling is that some players probably wanted to come back, but they didn't have a spot for him. And now because Texas didn't have a spot for Jordan Pope, now he's signing with the rival Texas A&M. And I know that the Moody Center is going to be crazy when he comes to town. What does that look for?
Wait, who did you say?
Jordan Pope.
Oh, you were talking about Jordan Pope. I thought we were talking about Chendall Weaver.
No, Kendall Weaver. No, Kendall Weaver. Yes, as well. Kendall Weaver is another one as well.
That was the one
Um,
I was going to talk about.
I mean, we can talk about both. We can crack two birds at one stone.
Let's do. We can do both. Yeah.
No, because I have a lot to say about both Kendall Weaver and Jordan Pope. I will
You.
start, we'll start with Kendall Weaver because I think that's a phenomenal fit,
No,
honestly.
I agree. Yeah, that dude
Kendall Weaver is a Kelvin Sampson player at the end of the
he
day.
really is. I was going to say that. Much like Grant McCaslin and his roster worked perfectly, Kendall Weaver going into Kelvin Sampson's system, that is like French kissed. It's free real estate. That's magic, man. And that roster was already, again, that roster was already really freaking good. And you know what they are now? Even better.
Even better.
I
You
mean,
mean to
one,
tell me we have a 6'7" wing that's athletic and plays with his hair on fire? Kelvin Sampson's like, oh, sign me up. Hey,
Kelvin
come on down
Sampson.
to Houston. Let's go.
I already retained JoJo Tugler and I got DeDan Thomas, and you're telling me I got Kendall Weaver now?
But that's the thing too, being from a Texas fan standpoint, it's like, you mean to tell me we couldn't make room for Kendall Weaver? Like Kendall Weaver was a fan favorite at Texas because of the energy that he played with. His energy and defense alone kept Texas in a lot of games early on, not only when Sean Miller was still finding his footing his first season and the roster was getting acquainted with each other, but even the year prior when it was still Rodney Terry. Like see, of the two Texas players that got the extra 5 for 5 ruling and left Texas because there was no longer a spot on the team, Kendall Weaver's the one I honestly am going to miss more because
I
that's
was,
the guy
yeah,
that the fan base loves. That's the guy that plays with his hair on fire. The guy that can make something out of nothing just off his energy alone.
right. And I mean, I think that would make a big difference on a team like Texas too. Because I mean, Goosby's going to be fine. I got no doubt about that. But Weaver is just,
I'm going to be honest
Weaver.
about it.
He's just got that extra intensity that like some of these new guys won't have. But
Well, to be fair, Gooseby and Weaver don't play the same position.
oh, that's true. I do forget that.
Goosby's a shooting guard, and Gooseby has like the length and all what you like to say. What we like to say on the show is all the things the scouts love. I'm gonna be real though, like if this will make you feel a lot better. When I went up to the Chipotle Nationals, believe it or not, the oh gosh, kid who went to Indiana,
Von Cravala.
Von Cravala. Yes, thank you. I don't know why I blanked on him.
Yeah.
The surfer in a basketball player's uniform. He
Casey
was not
Wade.
the only player I was disappointed with at the Chipotle Nationals. I was kind of disappointed with Austin Gooseby. Like I said, when you watch him in warmups, it's like, oh, he's got all the things the scouts love. Then you watch him actually play, and it's like, he's not all there yet. So yeah, but Amari Evans is gonna hold down the Kendall Weaver role. And don't get me wrong, good player. Tennant played at Tennessee last year, but nah. If you told me we had the opportunity to bring Kendall Weaver back, it's like and
You
put
would take
him with, I would
that.
take it. But Jordan Pope, on the other hand, now this is a guy. It's like, yeah, you like to see him back, but it doesn't kill you that it doesn't come back. If that
No,
makes sense,
I
because
would agree.
right, don't get me wrong, and this is no shade to Jordan Pope at all, because when Jordan Pope's hot, he's one of the most dangerous players in the country offensively. But when he's not, he leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah, yeah. Because I can
And
remember there were a couple times where it was like, "Oh no, dude! Oh no!"
it was a lot of oh no, oh no, oh yes, go.
37.2% from three is pretty good when it's working.
Yes. and even better when you realize a lot of those are from the logo.
Yeah, which are fun. Don't get us
They
wrong.
are fun. But yeah, when he's hot, but which is like once every so often, again, dangerous player, but
He's going
it's
to learn
not
to
the
play
same as someone
pickleball.
like Weaver who gives you something every night
Right. I
that
would
you
agree
can
with
set a
that.
foundation on. And because
More
now it's like
intangible.
and now because don't get me wrong, like when Texas A&M and Texas play this year, of course, Jordan Pope, would it be surprising to me if Jordan Pope goes off for like 40 in that game? No, because he's going to want to send a message.
Yeah, revenge.
At the same time, Texas has a lot of length they can throw at him now.
What happens when the immovable force meets
Meets
the
an unmovable
unstoppable force meets the immovable
movable
object?
object, yeah.
Well, is that all you had to say about Pope? Because I think it's time we address the real biggest move that's happened so far.
And that's that Riley Kugel still available.
No, no, no,
I was
not at
all
all.
jokes. Jaw joke.
I'm telling you now to prepare yourself, Les, because St. John's is going to win the national championship this year.
Whoa, you making that prediction now?
Yeah, because they made the best move of the offseason.
Tonde Yesufu?
No,
Who?
Reed Bailey.
No.
I don't know for those of you who weren't paying attention.
Indiana fans rejoice. Reed Bailey is no longer a Hoosier.
Now I do hope the guy balls out. Man, he just got such a unfair shake last year with the way the roster was built and the competition and the fans. But I just think it's hilarious. For those of you who don't know, Reed Bailey kind of became like the inside joke on the podcast because every Indiana message board I visited was just absolute hatred toward Reed Bailey. Poor guy. I mean,
What
he
was
did
it
his
when
best.
Duncan Powell like pulled that choke slam out and Matt photoshopped a picture of Reed Bailey standing in the background and he just puts it in the group chat and goes, "Oh, for God's sake!"
Reed,
Or
no.
or no, it was when the popcorn machine got on fire and Matt screenshotted a picture of a photoshopped a picture of Reed Bailey in it. And he's like, "Oh, for God's sake!"
I did it for both, unfortunately, because it was just so opportune. With the way the guys are talking about him, it was the way the fan messages were talking about. It's like you think Reed Bailey committed every national sin in United States history, like some kind of evil wizard.
He
He's like,
sunk. Hey, listen, he sunk the Titanic and he found Jimmy Hoffa. Okay.
okay, okay. Where was Reed Bailey on December 7th, 1941? Was he the one? I'm not getting into that, but yeah, I hope the best for him. And I think this is a little bit better. Big East can be physical, but you're not going to have Indiana level expectations. You're going to be coming off the bench. It's a good fit. It's a good fit. Rick Pitino finds his way. He's a magic man, that Rick Pitino. He's going to find a way to get the best out of you.
Yeah, and again, he won't have to be the star because that's going to be more than likely Tonde Yesufu unless he has a similar conflict that he had with Ian Jackson this year.
Which you never can tell. Say la vie,
Yeah.
say the old folks. So
Rick Pitino is very much a fit coach.
Rick Pitino really is. He's not going to get, especially this late in the year, he's not going to go out and get somebody he doesn't think he can mold in his own image. So
Exactly.
I think that bodes very well for Mr. Reed Bailey, who did not set anything on fire or encourage Big East rivalry brawls, even though he has a chance this year. I don't know. It is kind of ironic that that's where he ends up.
Absolutely. It is kind of ironic, but
A little
all
too
best
ironic.
best wishes to Reed Bailey.
Yes, seriously, I
But the
really
memes
mean
are
that.
hilarious.
The memes are hilarious, and they will not stop. But I sincerely do wish for the best for Reed Bailey going forward.
No, but here and I thought Matt was going to talk about Riley Kugel. Shame on me.
I am not talking about Riley Kugel. You can't make me. I'm not
Nah.
even going to say it again for the rest of the episode, whatever that may end, which could be now or in 4 minutes and 11, 10, 9 seconds.
Well, it is all. I will say this: it wasn't all bad for the 5 for 5 for my Texas Longhorns because Cole Hudson came back on the football side of it. He was one of the bright spots on a Texas offensive line that ranked 85th in pass protection last year,
Which
and
is still
now
shocking to me.
it is because should have been no reason for it. But oh, we can drink some water after this podcast.
He's getting choked up just thinking about
I'm
it.
getting it. It's a very emotional moment for me. Um, but No, I mean he was one of the bright spots on the Texas offensive line that ranked 85th in pass protection last year. And now it goes to show just where Texas has gone with that offensive line this offseason because as of right now, he's not even projected to start. So it goes to show. But just having him back as an extra piece and an extra guy with experience who's played some snaps with the team, that's gonna be coming. That's gonna come into some handy to keep Arch Manning upright this year. So it's not all bad from the 5-for-5 ruling for my Texas Longhorns.
No, and for Indiana, you get Sam Alexis back. I really
Mhm.
like that move. I think that's a really nice insurance big to have. He was the bright spot when it came to bigs on last year's roster and played incredibly well. And you've now, because of that trip to Peru, he's already played a little bit next to Aiden Sherrill. And I think that's going to continue even when Samet Yitaturgalu comes in from SMU. Now, he didn't get to play in that because he's not from the United States because they wanted American born players because they were Team USA in that tournament.
Mhm.
So that's why Samet Yigaturgalu did not play, but they did bring Sam Alexis in. That's where the rumbling started, and now he's back on the roster. That's just one of those great insurance moves, too. I really liked watching them play together. I know the competition wasn't great, not going to lie, not going to overhype it, but still, it's just nice to see two Big Ten level bigs playing next to each other. And on the football side, Stephen Daly and Kalon Wyatt coming back. I don't really know it's a hat on top of a hat with that. I mean, Indiana's defensive line was already going to be really good this year. Those guys were hurt at various points last season. Stephen Daly, notably after the Big Ten title game. Maybe they got something left, and if they don't play very much, they were fine anyway. So, yeah, it's just gravy on top of gravy for an already stacked defensive unit for Indiana. And if those guys can get anywhere near where they were at during times last season, if they don't, they're still going to be fine. They've got Mario Landino and Tyreek Tucker. I ain't going to sweat.
I
It's
ain't
just
gonna
nice to
sweat.
have some guys back. So that's Indiana's take on it. Unless they do, I guess, sign this Hall guy. I don't think they will. I don't know if I want them to. That's a story for another time. But yeah, I think that's all I got to say about that.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way. As
All
always,
right.
like and subscribe to Less is More Sports YouTube and Spotify channel to get the latest updates we have on content coming out. Be sure to follow the social media pages on Facebook, Twitter, and Threads. It's at Less is More Sports. And we got about a minute left before the timer runs out. And I am very surprised at one name we did not talk about
Who's
until
that?
now, Donovan Dent.
Yeah. Is he official yet, or are we just thinking he's going to Gonzaga?
It's not official that he's going to Gonzaga, but it is
Oh,
official that he is eligible.
yeah. That's one of
Ooh, but
those.
if he goes to Gonzaga, hey, remember when we were talking about Gonzaga's backcourt problem a little bit ago? Well, that solves that.
It's mitigated. Yeah, it's that would mitigate that considerably.
Hmm.
Then we'd be back to regular Gonzaga running the table, doing Gonzaga things. But
And then
yeah,
underachieving in the playoffs, but you can't even blame them. They don't play.
no,
They play a week conference schedule for months at a time, and it's yeah.
not anymore. Now we're in the new pack, baby.
Oh, that's right, the new pack. Ooh,
We got a badass in the new pack. You better admit
ooh,
it.
we got a badass.
You better admit it. It's the new pack.
The
When
new
they go
pack,
after dark, anything can happen.
out with the old and with the
Anything.
new.
Anything.
Anything.